Okay, so we're gonna start. First of all, your baking dish. You're gonna need a baking dish big enough to hold your ham. And I'm using I'm a lazy, right? Lazy girl. I'm using ham that comes in packages like this. This is a Hormel, and it just says dinner ham. Okay, it's already sliced. See how big it is? Now, for our family, that would have been fine, right? But because I'm cooking for both, I have two. So I'm gonna hold them up. See, two of these. Boom, makes a big one. So you're gonna need a baking dish big enough for whatever ham that you have. And we're either gonna need to put a lid on it, or you're gonna need to cover it with foil, because we're gonna want all of these flavors to meld in. You know my thing about oozy-goozy, meldy flavors, right? So, taking the lid off, this is a covered dish, covered baking dish. So you can see, there we go. And that's about the size. So you say, okay, if I did exactly what you did, and I have, let me get my ruler, handy dandy ruler. How big is my dish for my hams? The dish is 11 by 8. 11 by 8. So that's how big mine is. But basically, you want a dish that fits your hams, especially if you're doing what I am. These come like vacuum sealed, so they're kind of hard to get into. So I'm going to have to use my handy dandy kitchen scissors. It's like surgery, right? I'm cutting into the ham. Okay, it's got a little water in there, but not a whole lot. All right, the thing I love about this, I know it's cheaper. I'm sure it's cheaper, and usually I say cheap, but easy and lazy always wins over cheap most of the time. So this, if you look at it, I'll make this a little closer. It's already sliced. So see, it breaks apart. Those are the slices. Do you see that? I usually don't do it till I get it in there, but separate them just a little bit, okay? So it's not just block ham, okay? So I'm gonna put one in one side. Hold on. Put that there, and then I'm gonna cut open the other one. And again, your family may be small enough that you don't need two of them. But quite frankly, I always think it's just as easy to cook double whatever you're making, because then you have leftover ham. And like I said, leftover ham, good for sandwiches. You can chop it up and put it in your eggs in the morning. You can cut it up and put it in macaroni and cheese. You can make a ham and pasta salad. Hello, now I need that covered baking dish. I know, isn't it pretty? Good morning, sunshine. Sherilyn, off the subject, but I know you're still... I made the HG Italian mozzarella meatballs last night and froze them. I don't know if I can see the whole message. Hold on. Froze them to have them for later. Yes, I still do all that stuff too. That's why, I don't know if you watched, Sherilyn, I don't know if you watched the video called Hamburger Magic, where I steamed the hamburger meat. You know, that's the old HG trick. Okay, so I've got my second one open. I'm separating the slices just a little bit. All right, so I've done that. I'm gonna put this and put them together. Hello. Yummy. I mean, ham just smells good. As you can tell from the things that I've cooked, I'm like the pork girl. Like one of my favorite episodes, if you watch, was the bacon wrapped pork loin. Come on, how can you not love that? My favorite recipe was one, I don't remember what it was for. I don't know if we had company or it was actually for a holiday, but I took a pork loin and I cut it like in the middle of it, cut it open, and did my little knife so I had like a pocket. And that pulsa kielbasa sausage that we made in the rice dish the other day, so I had a piece like that and I shoved that into the pork loin, then kind of closed it back up and then wrapped the whole thing in bacon. And so it was pork cubed. Oh, so good. Oh my gosh. You sliced in, so you had bacon and pork loin and sausage. Yum. Anyway, ham, we have ham. This is one of the easiest dishes you'll ever make. And ham by itself is fine, and you can do all that, but we're just gonna jazz it up just a tiny little bit, okay? So, brown sugar. You're gonna need brown sugar. How much, you say? You know what? I'm not gonna measure this. I know that surprises you. All of you are going, what? Cindy's not measuring? I'm so surprised. Yeah, right. I know. You're not surprised at all. But here's what we wanna do. So if you had just a small one, just the one size, probably half a cup, maybe a cup, 3/4. Just depends. This whole thing, I would probably use a whole cup, maybe a little more. But again, I'm just gonna use enough to cover the tension. That's bad. Okay, well, I hope everything's good. Something happens, somebody say, you've gone away, come back. So anyway, I had to turn my Wi-Fi back on because, thank you for the thumbs up, because I was trying to send a video. Anyway, handful of brown sugar. This is light brown sugar. You can use dark brown sugar. Remember, the difference between light brown sugar and dark brown sugar is the amount of molasses in it. This is just what I picked out of the counter or cabinet. Okay, so see how I'm putting it on the top? I'm smushing it all on there, and you can kind of do the sides too. Remember, there was a little water or juice or whatever it was in the ham, so that's kind of good because then the brown sugar sticks. You will also see that some's falling off onto the side, and that's perfectly fine too. Although I'm gonna pull some from the side and smush it on the top. Now, why am I doing this? Because I'm making an ooey gooey, because you know ooey gooey and yummy is my favorite thing. Basically, we're making a brown sugar crust, a crust of brown sugar on top of our ham. And so it's gonna bake into those little slices, because remember we separated the slices? Oh my gosh, I love brown sugar. Such a happy ingredient, isn't it? There we go. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. You know, all those people who measure exactly and it has to be this. Okay, now I'm kind of gross. I'm not sure. I have to go wash my hands. Can you hold there 1 second? Hello, Melinda. Let's see. Tuning in from Spring. Where's everybody from? Are you in here? Illinois. Wow, Melinda's in Illinois. Hey, Peggy. Type where you're from. I'm going to wash my hands. I have brown sugar everywhere. Oh, run. Type where you're from. Hurry, hurry, do it. Running. Washing my hands. The sink's far away. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm running. I'm running. Uh-oh. I made the dog upset. Because if you get all excited, the dog thinks something's happening. Now, you could certainly just cook it just like this. Why? Because the ham is going to cook, and it's got some juice already in it. And, hey, Nancy. Sherilyn's in Dallas. I remembered that. I can't read that whole comment. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me see. I always wondered the difference between light and brown sugar. You know, it doesn't matter too terribly much which one you use. Unless, I mean, if the recipe specifically calls for dark, then it wants that a deeper, richer flavor from the molasses. And so usually that darker brown sugar is more like for pecan pies or molasses cookies or, you know, things like that. So that would be the difference if you needed to pay attention. Okay, so like I said, with the brown sugar and the juice from the ham, you're gonna have some stuff. But remember, we're covering this. And remember, when you cook something and you cover it, then that means all the air, all the juices, all the liquid stays in. If you cook it uncovered, all of that goes out, and we're drying things out. We don't want dry ham. Blah. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of juice in the bottom of this baking dish, and you're gonna look at me funny. Of course, I can't see you looking at me funny, but you have two options. I'm gonna do what I normally do, and I'm just gonna put some apple juice. Okay, we're gonna put like maybe a half a cup of apple juice in the bottom. Don't pour it directly on top of your ham. Why? Because then the liquid, oh no, quarter to half cup. You just want about yay much. What is that? Yay much. Half an inch on the bottom. Okay, so now the apple flavor, because remember we're covering it. So we got the brown sugar and the ham coming down and that apple juice all up and soaking up through the meat. So your ham is like appley, yummy, brown sugar coming down. It's all melding together. It's happy ham. It is hamtastic. That's what we're doing, hamtastic. So you say, I don't have any apple juice. And quite frankly, my mom used to put pineapples on top of our ham. That's fine too. If you have pineapple juice, You can pour a little pineapple juice in the bottom. And then that's a whole different flavor. You want to put some pineapples on top of here? You can do that too. Hey, Bridget. Hey, Cassie. Cute fur baby. Yes. Hello, Susan. Hold on. Who's in Cold Springs? Oh, Peggy. Yes. I knew you were in Cold Springs. Okay. So that's that. Now you can do it just like that. I'm going to add just one more tiny little bit of flavor. I have to do this so I can see when you say something. And so I'm going to take my cinnamon, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little cinnamon on the top. Okay. And again, it's just one more layer of flavor. You don't have to do that. Remember that cinnamon by itself is not sweet. We think of cinnamon as being a sweet thing because we think of cinnamon bread or cinnamon toast crunch cereal. No, we think of all kinds of sweet things when we think of cinnamon. But cinnamon by itself is very spicy. It's got a bite on the tongue. You see it more in Indian cuisine. And it's not sweet at all. So, however, because we have our brown sugar on there, and now we put a little cinnamon on top. Oh, so good. Okay, so for our ham, that's it. You're gonna put either the lid to your baking dish. Ta-da! Oh, do you need to see it? I'll tilt just a wee tad. There we go. See, ham, brown sugar, cinnamon, apple juice, swimming in the apple juice. Foil or your handy dandy lid, whichever you have. You're gonna put this in the oven. Remember, the ham's already cooked. This is not raw. It's already cooked and it's already sliced. So really, you're heating and you're letting all those flavors come together and marry. So 350 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. That's it. And then you take it out and there's heat everywhere and there's the crust. I mean, if you did it really thick, then you've got this brown sugar crust. Or if you didn't do it very thick, it's still ooey gooey into all those slices, and your family will go, oh, you are so wonderful. You love us. It was Hamtastic. And so there's our ham. Ta-da. Okay, first meal over with. Look how fast that was. If I didn't chitty chat so much, we'd be done quickly. Okay. I don't know, before we start the next thing, I don't know if you made yesterday's Peachy Keen Crisp. Oh my heavens. I mean, not very seldom do I make a dish and then pat my little back. Oh, Cindy, such a good job. Oh, I made a bowl of that, stuck in the microwave, because you know I made it in the morning. Stuck in the microwave for about 30 seconds, heated it up, and put a big old dollop of Bluebell vanilla ice cream on there. And it was like sweet, syrupy, creamy, crunchy, heaven. It was heaven in a bite. It was awesome. So if you didn't get a chance to make it, give it a chance. Give it a shot. That topping is to die for. It is so good. So good. Okay, I'm going to put my apple juice away. I don't need that right now. Now we're going to get a big pot. Okay, here's my big pot. Isn't that pretty? Has little bluebell patterns on it. We need a covered pot. So now, if you don't have one like this, maybe you have... okay, I'm going to get another pot to show you. Hold on. Where is... Oh, this one's heavy. Ugh. Okay, see? This is like a big old, like a cast iron. It's not the funky, expensive brand, but, you know, big old heavy soup pot. Ugh, very heavy. If you have one of these, you can use one of these. I'm putting it back. Ugh. If you don't have that, you can simply use an 11 by 13 dish, any kind of baking dish, and just cover it with foil. Really doesn't matter. So you're good. Hello, Heather. Hi, Bridget. Gosh, I miss seeing you, Bridget. Who said canned peaches? I made it, but used canned peaches. How was it, Jane? I wonder, did you drain the juice or did you use the juice? That's interesting. I haven't made it with just canned peaches because I used the peach pie filling. Yes, it was pretty purple, wasn't it? I let Jessica eat my serving. She had some this morning for breakfast. Okay, so here's my pan, whatever baking dish you're going to use. Whew, I need some coffee. Do you need coffee? We already made ham. We need just a little break. Hold on. Coffee. You know what I don't miss? what I don't miss all this. So you have to imagine it's a little difficult sleeping. I know some people have been having trouble sleeping because their schedule's all screwed up, right? You're not getting up at 5 in the morning and leaving the house and being gone all day and then exhausted. And it's a different kind of exhausted, right? It's a different kind of tired because you're in the house all day. Maybe you have little kids running around. Maybe you're bored out of your gourd. I don't know what it is. But it's a different kind of exhausted, a different kind of tired. And so I know a lot of people have had trouble sleeping. I'm having a little trouble sleeping because my husband's not right there, right? After this many years of marriage, when you go to bed, he's supposed to be right there, right there. And if it gets cold, you got the snuggle bunny because he radiates heat like nobody's business. So I miss that. But you know what I don't miss? I do not miss the phone ringing 6 times in the middle of the night. When we used to live in Galveston and he worked at UTMB, he had various things, but at one point he was director of Life Flight, and he worked in the ER, and he had 3 beepers. That's how old we are. Beepers, I tell you. And I'm gonna have one more sip. And the beepers went off all night. And when I would tell my mom, like the next day I'd be on the phone either with my mom or my grandma, and they were, how are you? And I go, I'm a little tired. The pager went off like 6 times last night. And without fail, both of them would say, poor Philip. And poor Philip, yes. But I was like, hello, every time it goes off, I'm waking up too. Poor Cindy, boo-hoo. Okay, I have been up and down all night. I know it's hard. It is hard. Java. Oh, you use cornstarch to thicken the peaches. Good idea, Jane. Okay, we got to start cooking now. We don't too long. Pork and beans. This is the store-bought brand, but I'm using 3 16-ounce cans of pork and beans. Did you eat these growing up? Is there anybody here from the UK or somewhere where they eat beans on toast? Is this the kind of beans that you have beans on toast? Is it pork and beans? I don't know. But I know that was like a big thing. I think it started during the war because, they didn't have a lot of meat. And so they ate a lot of beans on toast. And if you just didn't have a lot of money, I don't know if that just became a thing because that's what they grew up with that continued on. Or, it's just, I don't have any money or maybe people like it. I don't know. I've never had beans on toast. And I don't know if these are the kind of beans that you have beans on toast. Obviously, my friend Janet is not on because Janet is from the UK and born and raised in Colorado. Where's the brown sugar? I'm getting it. Hello, John. I love John. John's so funny. He has a great sense of humor. Okay, see? Almost filled my thing. 3 cans of pork and beans, okay? Now we're going to add all the yummy goodness. Now, the first thing I'm going to move that over there just a second. The first thing I'm going to do is chop up some bacon. Bacon. Yum. Because what is a dish without pork? Because, see, you just need a little pork. I'm pushing you back just a wee tad. Because there we go. I keep squatting, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so here's our bacon. You have some options here. You can certainly, I'm going to use 2 pieces. You can certainly pre-cook your bacon. But you know what? This is going to cook in there, and it'll be fine if you do not want to. All about easy, right? So I'm just going to chop this up into little slices. Chopped up the bacon. Like I said, you can pre-cook if you want. There we go. And if you're going to pre-cook it, then you can, okay, I'm going to move this here. So I'm going to just pull the bacon apart and stick it in the pork and beans in there. If you're going to pre-cook your bacon and you want to add some onions for another layer of flavor, that's fine. You can go ahead and saute your onions before you put them in your pork and beans. Know this, however, key thing to know. If you cook bacon and onions together, like you say, oh, I'm in a hurry, and you chop up your onions and you throw them in there and then you throw your bacon in there too, your bacon will never crisp up. Never crisp up. I totally have bacon as an air freshener. Oh, man, I would be happy about that. Brown sugar and bacon air freshener. Glade should listen. Just like they made all those funky potato chip things, right? Okay, there we go. All the bacon, yummy bacon is in there, okay? And actually that's gonna give us some fat. Always gotta have a little fat, right? La la la. Now, we are gonna use our brown sugar because, hello, brown sugar. I'm gonna use, I have a measuring cup. Look at that, half a cup of brown sugar. Remember when we're actually measuring brown sugar? It doesn't really matter, really, does it? But I mean, we're not baking, so it's fine. But there we go, half a cup of brown sugar. Again, using the light. Oh, looks like a little sandcastle. I said that yesterday. The brown sugar sandcastle. Ooh, I do still love that. Okay, so we have chunk O brown sugar sitting on top of the bacon and the beans. We'll mix it all up. Now, we are going to add a few more things. You can put fresh garlic in here. But if Kevin hasn't already taken them, oh, sorry, somebody's texting me. Can't talk to you now. I'll have to talk later. Okay, garlic, granulated garlic. You could put fresh garlic in there, but again, just gonna do a few. How much? Half a tablespoon. Nope, teaspoon. Put a teaspoon in. That's about as many shakes. Worcestershire. I got, the other day when I used this, and I said, Worcestershire, right? Because, who knows how to pronounce it. I, of course, got responses. I got messages that said, it's Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Look at that. Worcestershire. It looks like Worcestershire. That's the way it looks like. It doesn't look like Worcestershire. But there you go, Worcestershire. So we're gonna put a teaspoon. Let me think. Yep, teaspoon. Shake, shake, shake. Of Worcestershire, okay? We are going to use mustard. Because mustard is gonna give you just a little tang. Because we've got some sweet in here, right, with the brown sugar. We have savory with the bacon. Now we're gonna put in a little bite, a little kick. Believe it or not, remember the other day when I almost didn't do the eggs because I had no mayonnaise? And I was like, how do I not have mayonnaise? But I had taken it to the townhouse for the boys. I had taken bread and mayo and cheese and turkey and all that so they can make sandwiches. I didn't remember I took the yellow mayo, or the yellow mustard. The yellow mustard that's sharp, you put it on hot dogs, whatever. So I didn't have any of that. How do you not have mustard, right? I thought surely I'd have a backup, but no backup. I had the Dijon mustard, but that's a little sweet, and I already have sweet, so I want something with a little kick, a little oomph. So I'm using horseradish mustard. Ooh, so good. Horseradish mustard. If you don't have horseradish mustard, it's certainly fine. Really, you should be using the yellow squirty mustard. Just a drop. French's, yes, well, you can do that. I did not forget the brown sugar. I just put a half a cup in there. Okay, so we're gonna need a tablespoon, because you need some tablespoon of mustard, although you use the yellow squirty kind, right? What's next? If you sauteed your bacon first and you put in some onions in there, that's lovely. If you just chop up raw onion and put it in here, I'm not certain that as long as we cook this, that the onion is gonna cook, unless you're chopping it really, really fine. And so, it smells good in here already. Yum! Anyway, so I'm not certain that the onion would cook. And quite frankly, I don't want to take a big spoonful of baked beans and have the crunch of a raw onion. I just don't think that'd be a good thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm using minced onion. See? Although it's kind of almost empty. And it's funny because it says, extra fancy, instant time saver, which is, I'm all about. Just a time saver, minced onions. Okay, so I'm going to put a teaspoon. See, a teaspoon. Wow, a teaspoon. There we go. Of minced onion. Onion. Okay, the last thing I'm going to put in here, you don't have to put in. You don't. It is plenty sweet enough just the way it is. Just the way this is, it's perfect. We're going to give it a stir and we can be done. But I can't leave well enough alone. I just cannot leave well enough alone. And so I am going to add just a teaspoon or tablespoon of molasses. This is Grandma's unsulfured. It's not sulfured. I'm glad there's no sulfur. Original molasses. Now, what do you normally use molasses for? Usually, a lot of people don't have this in their pantries because you would sometimes use molasses when you make a pecan pie. The only other recipe that I can think of to use molasses is molasses cookies. My favorite cookie in the whole world, molasses cookies. In fact, when my husband had his cataract surgery, we'd gone by some bakery when we were at the medical center, and we got these big, like they were this big molasses cookies with sugar on top. And so as soon as we got home, my youngest daughter, who's the baker, I said, please make us some homemade molasses cookies. And can you double the recipe? And she looked at me and she was like, double the recipe? That's going to make a lot of cookies. They didn't even last 2 days. They were gone, I tell you. Anyway, so, okay, molasses. So a tablespoon, oh my goodness. This smells so lovely. Is anybody from Louisiana? Or maybe Texas, you would know about it. One of my grandfather's favorite things to have in the morning, he would take his biscuit and he would cut it up and he would put butter on it, right? The soft butter. And then he would take this stuff called Steen's. It looks like Stein's, but it's pronounced Steen's. Steen's syrup. And he would pour that over the biscuit. Oh, still one of my favorite. It's a smell and it's a so good. Anyway, I don't have any, but I had Grandma's molasses, so I'm gonna put that in. All right, we're almost done. Handy dandy spatula. Somebody, who was it? Vicky. Vicky was very kind and sent me a link to her friend's Tupperware page because I said I've had these for like 15 years and they're starting to fall apart. After 15 years, they've done their job. I got my money's worth. And Tupperware doesn't make them just like this anymore. They only have one size and it's got white and it says the thing comes off for easy cleaning. I don't want the thing to come off. So it's not gonna work. I'm so sad. Tupperware, bring these back. Okay, so we're giving a stir. So what do we have in here? 3 cans of baked beans, yummy. We have 2 slices of uncooked, or you can cook it, bacon cut up. We have some minced onion. We have mustard. We have mustard. You use the yellow kind, I use the horseradish kind. We have some granulated garlic. We have Worcestershire sauce. We have a half a cup of brown sugar. And we have minced onion, or you can put real onion in here cooked, and molasses. And you don't have to do the molasses. Oh my gosh. You are going, again, between the ham and this, you should send me a heart card. I can't believe I'm going to do this. There's raw bacon in there. I don't care. No. Oh my goodness. It hasn't even cooked. The flavors haven't even gotten all together and said, woohoo! But it is awesome already. Now, that's it. Put foil over the top or handy dandy lid. And that's it. You're done. You have brown sugar, Hamtastic, and you have these lovely, wonderful, sweet baked beans. Oh, now, what else were you going to have tonight? I will tell you. Tonight, because I've made this stuff, right? I'm one of the people that says you don't have to make everything homemade. Everything doesn't have to be from scratch. Although, as you can tell, I opened a few things and dumped it all together. I'm not certain that that's really homemade, but there you go. So, probably with this, we're going to have macaroni and cheese. See, that's fine. And I'm going to have one of the girls make macaroni and cheese. And we're gonna, and we'll double it up so I have enough to send over to the boys. And so we're gonna have brown sugar ham, baked beans, and macaroni and cheese. I know, where's the veggie? I didn't say that this was gonna be, healthy. There's no veggies in here, I'm sorry. I used to sell Tupperware. I didn't. New York, Dawn, you're in New York. I wish there was a button so I could smell that. Me too. I use maraschino cherry juice. In what, Jennifer? In your beans or in your ham? Oh, tell me it's the ham. Because I can't imagine that in the beans. But that would be good. And you know why? because I know a lot of people when they'd make their ham, on the top, they would put the rounds of pineapple, you know, the pineapple slices, make it decorative across the top, and then they would take a maraschino cherry and put it in the center of each one, and it was, oh, beautiful, which you certainly could do that, right? Let's see. Okay. Beans. In the beans? Really? How about those biscuits your grandmother made? Yum. Okay, I can't imagine that you put maraschino cherry in the beans. Now I'm going to have to try that. Jennifer, you have sparked my interest. Although I don't have any more pork and beans, so I'll have to try that. Heather, you have asked me about those biscuits a bazillion times. So now I'm going to tell you. Hey, Jess, will you get the Pioneer out? Here's the secret. I thought I told you that. But I'm going to tell you again. Here's the secret to my grandmother's homemade biscuits. Biscuit mix, baking mix. This is it. That's all she did. She put buttermilk in there, so that made them better. But that's the whole secret to my grandmother's. I'm leaving now to come have dinner. I think that's great. Niagara Falls. Oh, how pretty. I've never been there. Hey, Joe. Yeah, so Heather, that's the whole secret behind my grandmother's. My grandmother was not a great cook. Like, she didn't know how to cook when she got married. Funny story. So I have two stories about my grandmother. I called her Nanny. She was my nanny. My love. I loved my nanny. She was like my whole world. Anyway, when she first got married, she didn't know how to cook at all. So maybe you have a funny story about when you first were out on your own or first got married or whatever. So she made beans and rice and cornbread. But of course, back then they weren't as careful. They're a little bit more careful now. So she got the package of beans and she just put them in there to cook. She didn't go through long ago and far away, and still you should. You're supposed to go through the package of beans and make sure there's no rocks in there, because that's horrible. Well, she didn't know that. And so she just dumped the whole thing in there, and I guess there were a couple of rocks. My grandfather was not impressed with that meal. And then the first time she made chicken and dumplings, she did the wrong thing. And now I can't think, because I don't think I use it now. Baking soda or baking powder. I can't remember which one you're supposed to use. I think it's baking powder. And she put in baking soda. I think that's it. And it turned them green. Oh, green dumplings. Now, if it was Dr. Seuss week, that would be okay. But my grandfather was not impressed with her early cooking. And so it's how I learned a lot of things, because she had a lot of shortcuts on how to do things. And so as you can tell, everything that we've made has been just dump that puppy in the pot, give it a stir, and you're done. So there you go. We're done. We're done. Yay. Let's see. Chicken and dumplings are my favorite foods. I have a great homemade recipe, and I thought about doing it on here, but I got to roll it out. I have roll out dumplings. I don't like drop dumplings. Do not like drop dumplings. So I roll them out and then cut them with the pizza cutter so that I have long strips, and then I drop them in the boiling chicken broth. I'll have to send you that. Here in Washington, for sure try the cherry juice, but cut back on the molasses. Well, yeah, I think I would do that. Let me see what else you said. If I can hit the see more button. Yeah, I would cut that back. I want it. Okay, I only like roll-out dumplings too. I know, that's just a thing. I will send you, I have the card. I'll just send you a picture of the card, and you can make it. So, we're done. I just keep rattling on. I keep saying we're done, and then I just keep talking. If you wouldn't mind, please, somebody said that Facebook doesn't like it when you say, please share with your friends. So I'm not saying please share with your friends. What I'm saying is do a little love sprinkling. Sprinkle love to your friends. Hello, Kathy. And so if you wouldn't mind on your page, share this. No, not share this. Sprinkle the love from the